There are some stories that shake you, not because of a scandal or headline, but because of the quiet heartbreak behind them. Today is one of those stories, and it's not about a charity or even a prince. It's about what happens when, perhaps, allegedly, ego gets in the way of purpose. It's about how something so good, so beautiful, can begin to unravel. Not because of failure, but because of betrayal. Prince Harry has stepped down from Sentebale, the charity he co founded nearly 20 years ago, alongside Prince Seeiso of Lesotho. And he didn't just leave, he left heartbroken. So did the board of trustees, so did those closest to the mission. And that should matter to us, because Sentebale isn't just a charity. It was and still is a promise made in memory of two mothers. And that's where our story began. Welcome. This is Majesty Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for taking some of your valuable time to be here with us. In 2004, a young Prince Harry traveled to Lesotho during his gap year. There, in the mountains of southern Africa, he saw something the world often ignores: children orphaned by HIV, youth forgotten by global systems, and a community resilient in its struggle. He met Prince Seeiso, and the two bonded not as royalty, but as sons of mothers who had given their hearts in service to others. In 2006, they launched Sentebale, meaning forget me not, in the Sesotho language. The name alone told you everything. Don't forget the vulnerable, don't forget the kids society leaves behind. Don't forget the promise to do good. So, how does a charity like Sentebale work? Simply put, charities are organizations built to serve the public good, not profit. They rely on donations, grants, and the hard work of volunteers and staff. But behind the scenes, there is a structure. A board of trustee oversees everything. Their job is to guide, protect, and ensure the mission stays true. Trustees aren't celebrities or figurehead. They make tough decisions. They support the staff. They hold everyone accountable, including themselves. And when that governance breaks down, everything is at risk: money, integrity, and most importantly, the people the charity was built to serve. Recently, something unimaginable happened. The board of Sentebale, the very people responsible for safeguarding its legacy, resigned. Pin- Prince Harry and Prince Seeiso, the charity's founders, stepped away from their roles as patrons. Why? Well, because the relationship between the trustees and the chair of the board, Dr. Sophie Chanduaka, collapsed beyond repair. Let that sink in. Nearly 2 decades of goodwill, service, and community building torn apart by what the founders describe as an untenable situation. So let's talk about the chairwoman at the heart of this con- controversy. Dr. Sophie Chan Duako, do forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, a lawyer originally from Zimbabwe, refused to step down when asked by the trustees. In fact, she sued the charity to block her removal. Instead of putting the mission first, she doubled down, turning an internal conflict into a public legal battle. Now, she claims she is blowing the whistle on issues within the organization. Allegedly, governance failures, misogyny, even misogyny noir. But there's a problem. Her actions hurt the very charity she claims to protect. Instead of stepping aside for the good of the mission, she chose to sue. She forced the entire board, including lifelong supporters of Prince Harry, to walk away. That doesn't seem to be leadership. That to me seems to be ego. Now, let me make this very clear. When accusations are made, misogyny, racism, abuse, any of that, I will not pass judgment until we have the facts, until we have proof. But I am a feminist, and I will stand by any woman who makes such accusations. The caveat is, of course, now you have to prove them. This channel exists because I'm a supporter of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan. I believe in their vision, in their mission. That's why this channel exists. Now, what I'm going to say and continue to say in this situation here is just what I am assuming, alleging, based on the articles that have been published about this situation. Keep in mind also, I may just throw out some possibilities, right? I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm not blaming anyone of anything, but I'm most likely will be asking some questions that to me are not quite clear yet. Having said all of that, once this is already in the public forum, once due diligence is done and we have more information, then we can all cast our assumptions or so on. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. Now, Dr. Shanduka, as I said prior, is was born in Zimbabwe. She's a corporate lawyer and has held many different positions in her capacity, working for some of the most biggest companies, including Meta, Morgan Stanley, and the Virgin Group. Now, as per the Guardian, which I'm going to read from here presently, they say Shantuka, a Zimbabwe born corporate lawyer, in turn unleashed an eye watering attack in which she made little effort to hide her scorn for the youngest son of King Charles. In quotes, there are people in this world who behave as though they are above the law and mistreat people, and then play the victim card and use the very press they disdain to harm people who have the courage to challenge their conduct, she wrote. This is quite telling because something is not right here. Something is not right because the everyday ins and outs, the running of a charity is not in the hands of Prince Harry or Prince Soto. Sorry, Prince Seeiso. So for her to make such vile accusation tells me that there's something else happening here. I don't know what it is, but anyone who has to make such an accusation and implying directly that she's referring to the prince, when all I've heard from the prince is just the statement that they're stepping down because they have basically they're following the instructions or the guidance of the other trustees who have asked the doctor to step down and she's decided not to do so. Right? So this statement just reeks to me of vengeance, of 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 just complete contempt and vileness. I Now, having said that, where is the proof? Where is the proof? So imagine putting your heart into something for 20 years. Imagine building it from the ground up, honoring your mother's memory through every act of service. Imagine watching it crumble, not from lack of support, but from internal sabotage. Prince Harry must be devastated. Devastated. And yet, true to form, he and Prince Seeiso left with dignity. In their joint statement, they wrote, "We will always be its founders, and we will never forget what this charity is capable of achieving when it is in the right care." Now, it's that phrase, the right care, that tells us everything. Sadly, charities around the world have faced internal power struggles. We saw it with the Red Cross when leadership disputes led to resignations. We saw it with Oxfam when scandal exposed a lack of proper oversight. And even beloved organizations like Make a Wish have seen infighting among boards that nearly crippled their efforts. In every case, the damage is twofold. The charity suffers, the public trust takes a hit, people lose faith, donors pull back, and the ones who suffer most, the children, the families, the ones the charity was built to serve. There is a painful lesson here. Sometimes, even with the best intentions, ego, ulterior motives, power poisons purpose. When someone refuses to let go of power, even in a voluntary role, they can destroy everything. Sentebale deserves better. Prince Harry and the trustees deserve better. And most of all, the young people of Lesotho and Botswana deserve better. I'm not accusing, I'm saying that there are better ways to do this without damaging the charity in the way now that is happening. But there is another truth, I think. The mission is bigger than one person. And if history tells us anything, it's that purpose finds a way. Whether Harry continues supporting Sentebale from afar or launches something new, we know he wouldn't stop fighting for these kids, and neither should we. So we stay vigilant on what comes of this. So, what happens next? I guess we wait, we listen. Prince Harry may speak again, and when he does, we should hear not from a prince, but a man who most likely feels betrayed. And still, he's chosen grace. One of the reasons why he's resigned and is putting all of this at arm's length is so that it doesn't affect the charity. We should see a man who left not in defeat, but with his integrity intact. And to those of us who are his supporter watching this, we believe in Prince Harry's good leadership. We believe in his leadership because he has shown us over and over again. This is a reminder that when service is real, it doesn't need a title. And when you build something with love, even storms can't destroy the foundations. Prince Harry has put the charity ahead of any interest. Now, what I find curious is that the accusations that are being laid out, misogyny, racism, Prince Harry has a particular window, insights into misogyny, racism, abuse, continuous harassment of not only him, but his wife, to the point that it had mental health consequences, to the point that they lost a baby. So I find it troubling a little bit that someone would imply or make an accusation that Prince Harry would turn the blind eye to any of these issues because he knows they have suffered loss because of misogyny and racism. So I would find it extremely disappointing if the doctor can provide the proof. Now, here's one of those pesky questions that I've got that I'm sure people can tear it apart and say A, B, C, or D, whatever. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a layman mind here, trying to piece together some kind of logic of the accusations. I mean, all things are possible, right? Until we see the evidence, until we know what exactly happening. For now, we can just try and piece things together and come to some sort of idea. Anyways, my question is that the doctor, I shouldn't say doctor because people are going to think that I mean medical doctor, and uh, she's not a medical doctor. Sophie was a trustee from 2008. So she's been a trustee at Sentebale since 2008. She was nominated to the chair July 2023. So here is my question. If there was all these things that you're saying were happening, misogyny, abuse, racism, why has it taken you so long to say anything until it affected your chair, until they asked you to step down? Would you not, as a trustee during this time since 2008, if you've seen bad governance, if you've seen things that are not quite right, as a trustee, you have the right to raise those concerns. And if things are not done, by all the means, you have the right to go public. But we've heard nothing until now. Now, Sophie the chair, has been the chair now since July 2023. It's a powerful position. Would you not, in that position, raise the alarm? Would you not, in that position, say, okay, misogyny, racism, abuses, intimidation, all these things are happening and I will not tolerate them? You are the chairwoman. You've got power. Dr. Shanduoka is a very accomplished woman, a strong woman. Something tells me that she doesn't let anyone push her around. She's an accomplished, intelligent, strong woman. By all the means, I'm not saying accomplished, intelligent, strong women don't suffer from misogyny or can be abused within a system. What I'm saying is, in this particular situation, when you are basically the chair, the person with the power, why was these things not brought forth earlier? And that question could be seen as sexist or blaming the victim or any sort of thing like that. I understand that. But as a layman person, right? It's just a question that I'm asking. Now, I wanted to dig a little bit more just to answer a couple of questions that I had, right? So I did some more research and tried to um, answer the questions I had, and I thought if I had those questions, perhaps maybe you had them too. So forgive me if this sounds repetitive of what I've said already, but it's the way I've written it down. So we're going to go step by step here, right? Because my question that I was trying to find out now, who is in charge? Who is in control now? So we know Prince Harry and Prince Seeiso co-founded Sentebale in 2006 to honor their mothers and help children in Lesotho and Botswana, especially those impacted by HIV. They were the public face, the visionaries, and original patrons, but they were not part of the day to day operations or legal governance. All right, there's a distinction there, right? So, who actually runs a charity like Sentebale. For example, in the UK, registered charities like Sentebale are overseen by a board of trustees, which this had. They make key decisions, ensure legal and financial responsibilities, and uh, uh, and 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 they protect the charity's mission. The chair of the board leads the board, but it but they're all still accountable to the full board. So the chair is also accountable to the rest of the board. So let's look maybe in this case what might have gone wrong. So the entire board of trustees, including Prince Harry's close friends, asked the chair, Dr. Sophie Chanduaka, to step down, likely due to serious concerns about either leadership or behavior. We don't know. She refused and instead sued the charity to stop them from removing her. This now created a legal and moral mess. So rather than stay and fight a battle that could hurt Sentebale, it can hurt the public image and finances, the trustees and the co-founders resigned in protest. So who's in charge? So right now, the chair. The chair has not stepped down. So Dr. Chanduaka is in charge. Since the entire board has resigned, she may be in temporary control, but this is not normal or sustainable. The UK Charity Commission is investigating, which means she's under regulatory scrutiny. They could step in and force action if governance is found to be broken or improper. Charities must follow strict rules about how funds are used, even in a crisis. The Charity Commission can freeze funds or redirect control if there's a risk to public trust or misuse. Donors may pause contributions due to the scandal, which could obviously hurt Sentebale's ability to operate. Look, the bottom line is this: Dr. Shanduoka might hold power for now, but she's under serious um, scrutiny or pressure. She's made some accusations, serious accusations. Without a board and without the founder, Sentebale is in a dangerous governance vacuum. And it's up to regulators, right? Or if they get new trustees, if any person wants to come forward, or a legal decision will be made to fix this. Meanwhile, as I said before, Prince Harry and Prince Seeiso did the honorable thing. They stepped away, not to abandon Sentebale, but to avoid making things worse and to protect the charity's long term reputation. So let's see. I know the interwebs and the internets and the social media platforms have been talking, are coming up with theories. Some of them are pretty interesting, I'll tell you that. I don't know, right? But I just find it very interesting that that Dr. Shanduaka has been at Sentebale as a trustee since 2008, and there was no concerns. And when they've asked her to step down from the chair, she has a list of allegations and accusations. And what's worse is she made this statement that was just absolutely horrible, filled with poison about one of the founders of the charity. Charity founded in the name of two mothers. So this, I'm sure, hits the heart of both princesses. Fascinating how ego and power and all of that influences people to the detriment of what really the mission should be. That's not me saying anything. I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying in general. Well, we wait and we see what happens next. I will pray for this to be resolved in the most just way. But I smell more than one rat's happening here. I smell allegedly perhaps collusion. I smell somebody wants to. Okay, I'll shut up. But that statement alone, because if she was pure of heart, that statement would have never been made about someone who runs to the press. Because I'll tell you, the Prince Harry did not run to the press to make any bad statement. He just stated the facts and said nothing else more. Nothing about behavior, nothing about what his emotional feelings were. But she surely did. So I guess we will reserve our final judgment. Is there anything we can do until proof and all of that is brought forth?
The people are not here for the critiques that Meghan Markle, better known as Meghan Sussex, is receiving for her new Netflix series, With Love, Meghan. And I have a hot take as to why media and non-Black audiences are not ready to see Black women living a soft life, especially at the lifestyle that Meghan lives. Let's take a look for a moment at some of these headlines critiquing Meghan's show. It's been called cringe cooking, pretentious, pointless, and more. There's also been some discourse online from creators and social media users who feel that the show is cringy, inauthentic, or unrelatable, which begs the question, to whom though? Meanwhile, Black creators have spoken up to share their takeaways from the show. And there seems to be a reoccurring theme that they're actually enjoying it and are even being influenced by Meghan with the intention that she has implemented within her recipes, her love of gardening, her hosting skills, and more. So is this show really cringy, inauthentic, unrelatable? Or is Meghan showcasing a story that the media and social media are not used to seeing? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Mommy Tip.
Sentebale was never about power. It was never about control. It was a promise made by two sons in honor of two mothers who dedicated their lives to compassion, to service, and to humanity. It was about remembering those the world too often forgets. It was about healing, about love, and about action. But now that mission, built with devotion and carried for nearly 20 years, is under attack. I believe in service, I believe in justice, and above all, I believe in the truth. And truth, no matter how deeply it's buried, it will rise. I trust in God, and I trust that the light will expose whatever darkness is operating behind the scenes. Sentebale is like Prince Harry's and Prince Seeiso's child. And I trust that it will survive this storm because the mission was always pure. The love was always real. And those young people in Lesotho and Botswana, they are still worth fighting for and making sure that they receive the adequate necessities that they need. Thank you for spending your time here with us. I appreciate it very much. If you're not a subscriber, do subscribe. If you enjoyed today's podcast, make sure you put your notification on. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. And leave a comment if you wish to do so. Not all comments are published. And thumbs up to say you liked it. It really helps with the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your loved ones. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.